Danmachi. Funny set, bad cards. We're never getting into set 2. So this is what I got to work with. Getting right into it. We're not playing the event deck. It's bullshit. If you're playing the event deck, just stop. It hurts too much. We're playing Bardor. Step number 1 of Bardor. Have zeros that you can play and use. So, 4 of, we have the First Class Adventurer Eyes. This is one of the only cards in the set that can stick around past, like, turn 1. This is the best one because she can chase. So, you can just have her sit in the back row on turn 1. And when your opponent starts swinging, just push her up, make them side. Next card, we have our Qualifications of Hero Bell. This is the card that only everyone knows the first effect of. You guys know the pay 1, clock top, bounce itself, and something else back to hand. Really good effect. Counteracts a lot of different sets with on reverse. It also just helps you keep hand when you're getting shit-assed at 0. The second effect, it can pay 1, kill itself, and spawn our level 2 Bell. This is the deck where we actually use that effect. We're going to move on to the Climax Swap. This is the most important card of the deck. If you're not running 2 or more of these, you just lose automatically. This deck has way too many experience conditions for you to not run 2 of. It's incredibly important. Next, we'll move on to a couple of tech pieces. We have the Pay 1 Drop Search. It's also the bottom deck Zero Bomb. We only run 2 of these because the deck list is incredibly tight. We can only afford to run 2 of these. It comes up sometimes when you get to bottom deck of level 0, but we just run it to help grab our level 1s. Next, we'll move on to this funny tech piece that you can't run in the event build at all. She has a funny effect, the Pursuit of Truth Sena. When you play her, if there's 2 or more other characters on your field, you can draw a card, pitch a card. So using this lets you help fish for climaxes since we don't have access to the Hestia Brainstorm. Also, when you put her from stage to waiting room, you can pay 1, clock top, reveal the top 2 cards of your deck and add all characters to hand. This is one of the few plussing zeros that we have in the set, so run it. Next, we're going to move on to the Brainstormer. The only Brainstormer that's playable in the deck. The Finn, Expeditions of the lower levels. The other options we have for Brainstormers are the Trial Deck Mill 5 Draw, and the Hestia that doesn't have a first effect because we run 0 events in this deck. So we run him. It's a Salvage Brainstormer. It's pretty good. His second effect, at the beginning of your climax phase, you put 2 cards from your waiting room into the bottom of your clock, and it heals off at end of turn. This only really comes up when you're trying to refresh and just have that extra 2 cards out of your deck. It also helps get his targets in the waiting room in your new deck. Next, we'll move on to another card that no one has ever heard of before. We have the Goddess's Judgment Hestia. This is a very silly card. It's got some pretty good effects. It's another one of the only plussing zeros of the set. Her first effect, when you swing with her, if you have 1 or less other characters on your field, which synergizes with this, you mill the top card of your deck. If it's a level 0, you spawn it in your backstage for free. This, again, works perfectly with this. You mill this and you hit one of these, you're chilling. The second effect, when she gets reversed, mandatory mill top 2. If there's a level 2 or higher, she goes to stock. So it's just a Snockle effect. Alright, that's all of the level 0s. So moving on to our level 1s, our combo. The very beautiful Gale Ryu. She's on bar. When you attack with her, if your experience condition is 2 or higher, again, experience conditions, you look at up to 3 cards from the top of your deck, add all characters to hand. So ideally, you're going to be plussing 2 on all 3 of them. You're going to be milling hand for hand size most of the time. Next, we'll move on to our level 1 bells. These guys help our Ryus get larger. They're only base 5. There's no effects to make them bigger. A lot of decks right now have higher power level 1s. Having these 0 cost assist bells just help her get over a lot of other things that don't get as big, but still, it helps a lot. On your turn only, it pumps your entire board 1,000 power except himself. When you're level 3, he gives, on your turn, everyone 2,000 power. So he has a use early game of making her big and swing over things, but he also has usefulness later into the game. Next, we'll move on to Brian's favorite card, the Drunken Goddess Hestia. This is an anti-change. 1/0 cost. Play her. Pitch 2 characters from your hand specifically, and choose one of your opponent's characters whose level's higher than their level, and bottom deck it. So it's a bottom deck anti-change that costs hand, which you're plussing a fuck ton off of with your Ryus. So this is pretty much free if you can get it into hand, which segues into our next card, which is also rather important and only used in this deck. You don't use it anywhere else, except maybe if you're playing Spicy Hestia Waifu. Gift from Goddess Hestia. This card lets you pitch any card from your hand and salvage a level X or lower from your waiting room. The X is equal to the number of level 2 bells in your waiting room. So she will help you get into your level 1 Ryus, let you grab your anti-change. She'll even let you grab your level 0 bells if you only have one level 2 bell in there. So you can grab the level 0 bell and then just change it into the level 2. Very important card for making this deck consistent at all. And we'll have one of our tech pieces. This is the bottom deck assist. Just tap her, pump something 1,000 power, and on reverse bottom deck. It's not incredibly important, and it comes up rarely, but it's still a good tech piece to have for a lot of matchups. Now, moving on to the big boy himself, level 2 Bell. This is our finisher of the set. He is a level 2 base 4,000 power, but he's never going to be 4,000 power. His experience condition for the first one, if the experience is 3 or higher, he gets an extra 7,000 power and hand encore. So he's just a static 11k cross turn with hand encore. He's a pain in the ass to get rid of, and even if you do, you have access to your level 0 bells that you could just spawn it. You're basically running 7 copies of the same card. And he is, of course, on Door, our bar door deck. So we want to keep him on board as long as possible. We can't get anti-changed, but there are level 2 killers out there, which is why we run the tech piece of our level 2 Ryu backup. It's just a 3,500 backup, so it helps our Bell stay alive, but it's also a level 2, which allows our level 1's experience condition to pop off. The green level 2 comes up a lot since we run very little level 3s. And you can fix it later with the climax swap because you have access. 2 ways, maybe more for waiting room access. No, it's just 2. Well, another tech piece, we run the Hestia Fumio. It's not amazing. There's not many decompression tools in Danmachi. This is the only reasonable one. The other one is a stock shuffle on an event, which we have no way to grab in this deck, so you run the Fumio. The other effect is a blink. It helps sometimes, but a lot of the decks right now don't have any kind of staying effects, so the blink doesn't help that much.
Against Darkness.
What?
Against Darkness.
Yeah, but who's playing Darkness? Besides you.
Against yeah.
And even then, they already went 3-4.
Got him.
Yeah, well, you fucking lost, so shut up. So our level 3s. The little rookie Bell. This is one of like the 2 early play healers of the set. You don't run the Hestia. There's no reason to have the level 3 early play Hestia. We're not even running the Brainstormer, so you run this one. It's a healer that you can sometimes get off. We're mostly using it for the experience condition of our level 3 Bell, so our level 2 Bell, and our level 1 Ryu. We're also using the level 3 Ryu. Again, for experience condition, we're only running 2. The deck list is very tight. She's an off finisher as well. On play, you bottom deck a card from your deck. You can choose anything, so you can pick the trigger if you're low on deck. And she's a static 11/5. And when you get a reverse with her, you can pitch 2 characters from your hand and put your opponent's character into their clock. So it's just 1 guaranteed damage and hard removal. And lastly, we have the level 3 Seer. Sorry. So when you play her, you pitch 1 card from... No, you don't pitch anything. You just pay the cost, search your deck for any character you want. And the assist effect, everything in front of her gets 2,000 power. So our Bell is getting the assist power without him being a level 3. Most assists are level, like, just boosts off a level, just a static 2k. Also, she gives everything in front of her hexproof. So if you wanted to tap counter one of your Bells, just swing with the one that's not in front of her. They can't tap counter you now. Easy. Now that you're level 3 and you have your experience condition, your level 3 combo, you after you attack, the combo is over, you pay 3 to restand it. So he's a restander. It's not amazing, but he can deal a outrageous amount of damage. Yes, he's only 1 soul, but if he's 11k. A lot of decks are going to be swinging under him. You also have a backup to help open lanes and hard removal. So you're going to be seeing a lot of open lanes frequently.
And the fact that he's a 1 soul really helps going into open lanes, making his first swings only 3. Rather than going from 4 to 5, it's 3 to 4.
And unless you trigger, then he's doing like 4 and then 5, and if you're really lucky or unlucky, 4 and then 6. So 1 Bell can do a total of 10 damage. And that's just one of the Bells. You got 4 more attacks incoming. So Bell can be really scary in the right situations. Again, that's why we run the Fumio. There's a lot of different moving parts for this deck. It's not easy to pilot, and the deck itself is just outrageously complicated to make work. But this is how it works. There isn't much else you can do other than what I've laid out for you. I've tried a bunch of stuff. This is the one that works. If you want to try other stuff, go for it. If you figure out something else that works, I'd love to hear it. But this set is struggling for good cards. And please, for the love of God, Bushy, give me a set 2 so I can have more than 2 level 3s.